you come by your creativity and your intelligence very honestly. Your parents are both PhDs, or your father has passed away now.
Correct.
PhDs, and he was the youngest law professor at Yale. They both
Yeah,
graduated.
youngest ever at
Yeah,
the time. I think
yeah, at the
there may
time.
have been one or two cents, but
Yeah,
he
but
had set a record at the time. Yeah,
yeah, is your mom still with us?
my mom's still there. Yeah,
She's
and
still
doing well.
doing,
Yeah.
yeah, great. I watched some of her presentation actually.
Oh wow,
Oh no, she's wonderful.
you did your research. Thank you.
Yeah, no,
All of,
I'm trying to figure out whenever I talk to somebody, I try to figure out, what's going on here.
mhm.
Where, what made this, what took this lump of clay and made it into what it is.
Mm.
I'm very impressed with education, but the
Oh,
thing,
I'm going to let her know.
yeah, please do.
Yeah.
I loved listening to her. I thought,
Mhm.
it was great, and her subject matter is great, and it was wonderful. But anyway, so you come from a family with, you have siblings?
I have an older brother, about 7 years older, a
Okay, so
boomer. Oh
what
God, so
what was
dumb.
it like growing up in a household with parents with that kind of mental horsepower? Again, question is, you grew up in a household with two parents, not one but two parents with PhDs from
Yes,
not Podunk U. We're talking about Yale
yes.
and so forth and so on. So how was that? How was that growing up in that environment, and then superimposed to me the whole guitar thing and music thing in that environment? Were you encouraged? Were you, are they musicians as well, even though that's not their primary field? So how did that all that come about?
Well, my parents, after graduating Yale, they taught at a few different schools, short term, University of Chicago, La Jolla, in San Diego. By the time I was conscious, they had settled in at Berkeley.
Right,
So, because of this university being placed in this very countercultural location,
right,
I grew up around a lot of rock and roll culture. It was certainly more 60s leaning, even though we're past the 60s at this point.
right.
But I was surrounded by it. It was sort of a requirement to own Beatles records, which is a great thing because I
Yeah,
developed a love for the Beatles. I'm told the first songs I ever sang were, songs that a kid can understand from the
right.
Beatles.
Sure.
Yellow Submarine, uh, Here Comes the Sun,
Right.
and so on and so forth. It's started to develop into desire to play music, I believe, because for one thing, 50s culture was having a resurgence.
Right.
This is, the pop culture happening in 20-year cycles thing. And, as a child in the 70s, of course, there was, American Graffiti, which I was a little too young to remember. But that led to the sitcom Happy Days, which had Rock Around the Clock as its theme song, at least until they decided to do their theme song in house. So I loved that Rock Around the Clock, and it's got one of the earliest examples, in my opinion, of a ripping solo, and that got me excited. And there was also a movie that came out where Jerry Lee Lewis, Screaming Jay Hawkins, and a bunch of other artists from the '50s played themselves. And the one who stole the show for me was Chuck Berry, and he was doing the duck walk and just playing all his great licks, roll over Beethoven. And the straw that broke the camel's back, it really made me have to play guitar lessons, was discovering the band Kiss. That was very, very much in their peak period at
Right.
that time. They would come around, ads for their concerts would show up on television. And I remember kids at my school had these little baseball cards, but they were Kiss cards. And So it was really a combination of Kiss and Chuck Berry. And I also had a very good guitar teacher who made connections between
Right.
Chuck Berry, the music Kiss was doing, and the Beatles, and even told me, oh, the Beatles actually started out playing covers of Chuck Berry music. So
Yeah.
it just became this passion early on. And I also decided academia did not interest me for a number of reasons, which I could get into.
No,
But
I can imagine. So, was that teacher Satriani, or did that come later?
that was a little later.
A little
This
later.
teacher, his name was Gary Lapeau. He actually became a pretty well-known children's artist.
Okay.
But at the time I was studying with him, he was more of a folk guy. He was like, a proverbial figure in Berkeley.
So,
He was
yeah, I'm
playing
sorry.
guitar at anti-nuclear war protests and save the whales rallies. I mean,
Right.
that sounds funny, but this type of stuff was happening all the time,
Well,
and folk music was around, and there were a lot of good folk teachers in Berkeley at that time.
I have a friend. I don't know what happened to her, because I used to be a manufacturer's representative, and Furman Sound was one of my clients,
Oh
and
wow, okay,
and uh, and and the sales manager there had a phrase, about for this kind of stuff. They're from the area because Jim Furman used to
uh-huh.
work with the dead, and
Oh okay,
she used to say, yeah, they're nuke the gay whales for Jesus.
ah ah ah
Have you
ah.
ever heard that before?
Perfect. I've never heard
Yeah,
that.
nuke the gay whales for Jesus, and I
I have heard nuke. I have heard nuke the whales,
yeah, nuke the gay
but
whales for Jesus.
that's
Well,
that's a whole other level,
yeah,
and I
well,
totally get it.
she took a walk on the wild side. It's kind of a long story
uh-huh.
there, but anyway, um, so you're out there, and you you pick up the guitar, and so you really fascinate me because you're known for Testament. Obviously, you're
Yep.
known for being a rock player. You've got videos galore with like Eruption and all
Uh,
these things that you've been doing because you've been doing this for a long time.
yes.
You've been
Yes.
doing this for a long time. I know how old you are. I
Huh?
won't say it. That's up to
It's
you.
okay. Well, I was
Uh,
the Eddie Van Halen generation.
yeah, right. So you're 57 years old. You
Yeah.
started doing this at 16.
Yeah. And
You're playing professionally at 16 in bands and stuff like that. So, you've been doing this a long time, and you picked up on social media, YouTube, and there's a whole shitload of stuff of you on YouTube doing all kinds of stuff
mhm.
from your L5, to your ESP guitars, your Godin guitars, your
Mhm.
trio. When you played at the Iridium, you're playing there with the guy's got an upright bass, even though it's the truncated upright bass, and you're
Yep.
playing with your new recording. The video of that has got one of my favorite people in the world is Roger Sadowski.
Oh yeah. Like
So you've got the HS.
great,
Is it an SS or HS
great guy.
15? Oh,
SS 16,
yeah, yeah, 15.
SS 15. Sorry.
15. Yeah, no,
And,
that's a lovely guitar, and you're getting a really, really, obviously great tone out of it.
and
And
straight from Roger himself.
Roger is one of my favorite humans.
Such a great guy.
Yeah,
Yeah. Just a
he truly
shining
is.
example.
Truly is a wonderful guy. He was one of our founding supporters here 7 years
Mm.
ago when we started this. But then it's a long
Oh,
story.
that's
But
so cool.
he's not building those specific guitars anymore, which I hate. Uh,
Yeah,
but anyway, that guitar, by the way, it sounds great. So you're
it's a
playing.
beautiful guitar.
You got the Eddie Van Halen guitar. I mean,
Mhm.
you've got, I don't know if that which how you bought that or made it or whatever you did, but it's got all the same graphics on it and all that stuff all over it.
Yeah, I have a couple of them. One of them was custom made by a friend of mine, Frankie Felita.
Yeah.
He calls the guitar the Frankie, modeled after the Frankenstein, which is what
Yeah,
Van Halen called it.
then you
And
got a
then
nice.
another one, I have two. I have the red one that's actually store bought, and they, to their credit, EVH, the company, they've done pretty good replicas of his original.
Oh
So
yeah,
I have
and
two.
then you got a video with the guitar. I really like the Blonde L5.
Yeah, there's the
Really
Blonde
good.
L5. I've also got a 347
Right, love
from
those.
1990. I use that in the new video as well. That was used on the album as well. You probably hear that one the most.
Well,
followed by the Sadowski
you
SS50.
did a tribute to Ozzy, which you played
Hmm.
with,
Yep.
on a flamenco guitar.
Yes,
Yeah, that,
made by Cordoba.
yeah, on a flamenco. So like you're legit in all of the, like a lot of guys will play at this and play at that and play at this and play at that, but you're pretty legit in all of these different genres that you approached, which is really interesting. I mean, that's and then, but I'm told, your publicist, by the way, is one of my. I just love her. I love Michelle.
Hmm.
She's just
Yeah,
great.
she rocks.
Oh,
Melissa rocks.
I love her. I mean, she tells me this guy's coming up purple tomorrow. I'm sure it's going to be purple. I love her.
Yep. I agree.
Um, so
Yep.
tell me about Prove You're Not a Robot. Let's get straight into that right now. This is your new recording. Is it? I heard you've got acoustic guitar in there. You got electric guitar in there. You've got things where you're bringing in, I believe, like phase shift, and you got
Mhm.
pedals happening with and all. So talk to us about that process, about the compositions, your approach. The Go for it.
Okay. Well, when I started doing music with my trio, I really felt like I had something to prove, and I really sort of stuck to a more sort of traditional jazz trio sound.
We just lost you, Alex. You gone dark.
Oh,
Did the
hang on one sec.
the lights go off?
Yeah, I think it's motion censored.
Oh, okay. There you go. You're back.
Okay. This
Alex,
is an adventure. So,
hey, I love it. This is
okay,
great.
good. I'm glad you don't mind being the guinea pig for.
No, not at all. This is great.
um, but yeah, yeah, when I started doing my first recordings with my trio, I was sort of, I knew, with my background coming from heavy metal, being known as this guitarist from the band Testament, I had a lot to prove. And by that time, I had already gone back to school. I'd gotten a university degree. I studied jazz at the New School.
Right,
I'd studied with Charlie Benakos, who's this jazz guru who
right,
taught a lot of even some of the teachers I was studying with were studying with him.
right.
And I kept it mostly to a pure jazz guitar sound. I think over the years, I've felt a little more freedom to experiment and change things up a bit. So fast forward to the newest record. Yeah, there's a lot of effects I like to use. I play in a couple other instrumental projects that are more jazz rock than
Right,
jazz.
right,
For example, this week I'm touring with Percy Jones, who was the bassist for a band called Brand X in the '70s,
right.
and it's very experimental, and I use a lot of pedals. I allowed myself to bring in some of those pedals.
Yeah,
I also wanted to do more original compositions. When I did the first trio record, we got a lot of notoriety for doing arrangements of hard rock tunes,
right,
which I thought would be fun and bring
right,
something different to the conversation. Like,
right.
do we need another version of Have You Met Miss Jones? I don't think so. Yeah. I
I
thought
was
I
at
don't.
I was at a jam session one night where My Funny Valentine, I shit you not, was played 7 times.
Right. So those songs, they
Wow.
become like, rock, what rock fans
Right.
will think
Yeah.
of with Lil Wing and
Right.
you know Sunshine of Your Love and Stairway to Heaven. Yeah,
Right.
that's how some of these tunes are. All the Things You Are,
Sure. Yeah.
Autumn Leaves. So I thought, okay, what, I really I have something different to say, and we ended up doing songs by groups I grew up listening to, like the Scorpions and
Yeah.
Kiss. I've never, to this day, I haven't heard anybody else do those songs. Aerosmith, I have heard a few folks take that on, which is
Yeah.
good. But we have a Tom Petty song on the new
Yeah.
record. We play tribute to him. We have a mashup of Yes, a solo guitar piece by Steve Howe with Chick Corea, paying tribute to Chick as well as Steve, who's still with us, thankfully.
Yeah.
But mostly, I wanted to focus on original compositions and really just dove deep into composition. I started a podcast during the pandemic like
Right.
many other people. Somehow scored an interview with Pat Metheny,
Yep.
one of my all-time heroes, and he was talking about composing on piano more often than guitar.
Hmm.
And I think I took that to heart. I really
Yeah.
I recorded a lot more of my piano ideas just raw on my phone and listened back to them and realized, there's some interesting stuff here. I could easily migrate this to the guitar. I might have to change the key and incorporate some more open strings, but I wanted to do that, and I also wanted to bring in these different instruments. The 347 some Gibson semi hollow body.
Right. Yeah.
I sort of stumbled upon that guitar at a store
Do you
where
know
I
Dave?
figured
Do you know
I'd
Dave
support something.
Stryker? Or do you know?
I
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I know Dave.
He's a big 347 guy. That's his main axe.
Oh, is that what he plays? Because
Yeah.
I have a couple of his discs, and I've admired that guitar
Yeah.
on his
Yeah.
album cover. I remember thinking I would love a guitar like that, and then sort of forgot about it, and
Yeah.
yeah, just randomly ended up with one. It's become my main sort of jazz, clean chord melody
They're
sound.
they're they're fabulous guitars. Fabulous.
Yeah, but I
Right.
also worked in this acoustic. It's a sort of slightly funny story. I needed a tax write off, which is a good thing. I
Yeah.
higher my accountant said we made more than you expected. You need to buy some more gear, and I ended up buying a Fender Deluxe 65 amplifier,
Love that amp.
which I used on the recording,
Yeah, I love that amp.
and then really a guitar that kind of felt like an extravagance, which was a L from 1936, a Gibson parlor guitar.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Right. And I've loved going to vintage shops and just picking those up,
Yeah.
and they always sound
So
so
is that
good.
what is the acoustic guitar that's on the record?
So that's the guitar you hear.
That's the that thing sounds fantastic.
It really does. It
Yeah.
sounds mic'd even when it's not mic'd. The
Well, yeah.
guys and the engineers in the studio were marveling at it. They said
Well,
we've never heard a guitar,
they did a great job capturing it. I went,
and
wow.
they did too. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And they got it in the mix. I mean, it's a well done record.
Thank you,
I
thank
mean,
you.
we'll talk about that for just a minute. So your style is really interesting. You said a lot of you in a lot of the tunes that I'm listening to in your style. I mean, I'm going to kind of move into a different world. You're like an artist that gives you this great big open canvas.
Hmm.
And then you're like that. Remember that guy used to paint? We're gonna put a little
Bob Ross
Bob Ross. Yeah,
on PBS, of
you're
course.
kind of
Yeah.
like almost like a Bob Ross guy for a while.
That's a
It's
great
like,
compliment. I'll
yeah,
take it.
I mean, no, but I love the guy.
Yeah.
He's still
Oh,
fascinating.
me too. He's got a big cult following
Oh
too.
yeah,
I
no, people
understand why.
people love him. So, but you like Bob Ross with this music because you set this great big canvas up
Hmm.
for us.
Yeah,
And then you
thank you.
start putting trees in, and there's some
Ah,
clouds, and
ah, happy little tree is seen
happy
in my.
happy little trees, and I'm going, yeah, all right. And then what happens? All right, you're like from a few, then all of a sudden you stomp on a pedal and you're off to the races.
Right.
Playing more like not Demiola, but you're playing more of that voicing, if you will. That
Hmm.
lead tone that we're all familiar with, but
Yep.
obviously in with your own thoughts and your own ideas. So you're spectrally and tonally, you're all over the place, which is a great thing.
Hmm. Thank you.
I
Thank
mean,
you.
it's really cool. I mean, it's really I want young people to hear what you're doing
Hmm.
because you're really giving them I hate it when we talk about ourselves as well. Now we're going to pass all this down, but hey,
Right.
but you're guys like you are, and there's a few out there that are
Hmm.
truly putting the whole thing in a blender and shaking it up and spitting it out and giving I mean, us something fun to listen to for sure.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
No, it's really, really good. And then, and you're also giving people, I don't want to play jazz, man. I don't, because they think they're going to be playing all the things you are until they're dead. you
Right.
know,
That's
and they think that's what that is. And
yeah.
and even our audience, God, and I love you guys. I love you guys.
Mhm.
It's okay to break out of that. It's
Mhm.
okay to because it's improvisation. It's blah 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 blah. All the things. So speak to that a little bit.
Okay.
Where did you get this this idea? I mean, I put it into terms of Bob Ross, but I mean, is that something you're conscious of?
Yeah, I love the comparison. I love the documentary on Bob Ross too,
Oh, man, he's great.
but I never like consciously thought about it that way. I think one thing I could say is I've had little use for lanes. They tell people, stay in your lane, and everybody's got a
I'm going to
lane.
stay in my lane, but it's about
Yeah,
20 miles wide.
yeah, exactly,
It's coming at
exactly.
you.
Yeah, I would
That's
rather,
my lane.
yeah, or you know what, or make your lane on a super highway, and maybe
Yep.
you can cut into some other lanes too.
Yeah.
Now I know full well I fully disclose that I can find people. Some of them are friends of mine that are specialists.
Right.
I've got friends in the blues world, and I
Right.
feel like their level of commitment to that music is so high. I know of some pretty much exclusively acoustic players
Right.
that it's the same thing. I have jazz guitar friends that are win polls and
Are you living
play.
in you're living in New York?
I live in New York, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
So
there's that's where they all are. I mean, that's
that's
where.
where they all are, and you get to know them, and and it's inspiring. It's
Yeah.
also, um, I guess I realized that a lot of the music I can reach a level
Right.
and that feels good to me. That feels professional.
Yeah.
That's my key word. I think is
Let,
professional.
let me
I'm
back up. They're not all in New York, but boy, there's a lot of them there.
there. Yeah,
I mean, there's guys in Kansas, there's guys in LA, there's guys in the Bay Area, there's guys. I mean, there's guys
that's true. And I
all
know
over.
people in
So I got
all
to
these
back up
places.
because I've got friends that play from all over the country. There's guys on in New Orleans and all that. But boy, there's a lot of them in New
Yeah.
York. Peter Bernstein comes to mind, and
Uh,
we could go on and on. Mike Stern is living there, and
exactly. And these
you
are
know,
different types of players
yeah.
that seriously develop their thing.
Oz is there. I
Oz
mean,
is here. Yeah, I know
yeah,
Oz.
yeah.
I know.
Is Wayne
Mhm.
there? Is Wayne
He
Krantz
is.
still
He's.
there?
I think he's been mostly in South America.
Yeah, no, because he's down
Yeah.
in Brazil. But I
And
mean, these are names that people would know. But there's a whole. Oh, Pasquale Grasso is there. Frank Vignola is there.
oh yeah.
Jimmy
Oh,
Bruno is there. I mean, they go. There's no shortage of jazz jazz guitarists in New York. Uh,
absolutely. And in the surrounding areas too. You
yeah.
mentioned Dave Stryker
Oh,
earlier. It's
yeah. Absolutely, Dave. Jimmy
across the
Bruno.
river. Yeah.
There's a boatload of guys.
Yeah,
So
so they're around, and you see these guys, and you go to show concerts and run in some cases, I hang out with them, because it's the guitar community.
right.
Oh, Reza Bazi, that's another
Oh yeah.
guy.
Well, we just did a thing with him.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I love him.
great friend. Yeah, great friend. And he's somebody like, okay, well, he's this level of improvisation it's way deep. It's almost like
I
it.
yeah.
Sometimes it's like a language I don't speak, but there's common ground.
Do you know
Um,
do you know Fareed Hawk? I mean,
I
he's in
don't know him
Chicago.
personally.
He's in
I'm a
Chicago.
fan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's another, he reminds me of. I mean, those guys, Reza Bassi, they're the same. It's their propellers spinning faster than mine. They're just I don't know. They have this other worldly thing going on.
Yeah, yeah.
But
But
let me bring it back to you a second. But
uh-huh.
you got your propeller spinning pretty fast too. I use that as a metaphor for remember like Poindexter, the road
Uh-huh.
card kid, and he had a propeller on top of his hat back in the 50s or
Hmm. Oh
anyway.
yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, and I said, yeah, his propeller is spinning faster than mine. I can't quite get that to go there.
Yeah,
So
I think it's possible to reach, high quality and communicate in a way that musically that reaches people. and
So
reach the same. I'm not going to, maybe I'm not going to reach the same people that the specialists reach. If you're a specialist in whatever form of instrumental music, and you have a crowd that's a lot of musicians, and they're
yeah,
looking to them, they're looking at you for,
well,
you're
maybe,
paving the way forward. That's one thing. But I
yeah,
feel like, doing all these different things, and including the heavy metal that I do,
well, maybe
that's
not, but I mean,
contributes to what I have to say.
but maybe not. I don't know, yes or no. But here's what I do know is that have a compelling story to tell, and people want to hear it. I mean,
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you show up, people show up to listen to you do your thing, and it's a compelling story, and and you're one of the few voices out there like that. I mean, so that you're creating a new where to go. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. I think it's
And
something I committed to.
yeah,
It took a long time to get together. We mentioned before, as we talked about earlier, I'm of
yeah,
a certain age, quote unquote. It didn't happen overnight, but I felt it in me that, okay, I wear different. I feel like I can wear different hats. I I have such an appreciation for the music as a listener,
right.
and I have the dedication to focus on the music that I like and
Yeah, no,
develop that.
so tell us about the band a little bit, the guys that are playing with you on this band, and how long you been together. I know you got a tour coming up on the West Coast.
Yeah, we have a tour on the West Coast, starting in LA, going up to Portland and Seattle, including
Yeah.
the Bay Area.
Where can
Uh,
people find those? Where can people find those dates? Is there that a
you can
website?
follow me on Instagram, just at Alex Skolnick.
Right,
Uh, you can follow the trio at Alex Skolnick Trio,
right.
and I'm also on Threads and other platforms. I have a website,
And
alexskolnick.com.
and they'll be able to find those dates, but
Yeah,
it all starts in January though, right?
that all starts in January. We did some Midwest dates before.
Yeah.
And before we hit the West Coast, we actually have 3 shows in Texas, including the Do-Si Do near Houston, the Guitar Sanctuary in McKinley, Texas, and a
Yeah.
show in San Antonio. So we're excited to play those, and then we're going to fly to LA and start our tour. We're also performing at the NAMM show. We're going to be there the Friday night at the Marriott stage at 11 p.m.
I um I attended NAMM shows for over 30 years.
Mhm. Yeah,
Every
I mean, once at a certain point, you probably had enough.
No, well, I was a manufacturer's rep in the industry.
Okay,
So
yeah,
yeah, 30 years was going out there, and I know the stage at the Marriott. Are you talking about the stage that they put between the Hilton and the Marriott there?
no, this is actually in the
All
Marriott.
right. I know the stage. Yeah.
Yep, it's by the bar.
Yeah, I know the stage.
Right. It's
Uh,
always a good time. We've done it a few times.
it's a great time, and here's the deal. I mean, the audience is there is, these people know. I mean,
Yeah. In fact, I did it last year, and my guys couldn't make it out, but I did it with a 3 jazz guitar combo.
oh, all
Ron
right.
Jack. I don't know if you know Ron Jackson,
Yeah. I know who he is.
and
Yeah.
on a West Coast guitarist, George Cole, who's more
Uh-huh.
of a gypsy player, and it was terrific. It was
No,
terrific.
that. There's a couple of really good hangs out of Nam. That's definitely one of them for
Hmm.
sure. And musically, that's probably the coolest one because
Yeah,
it,
it's really cool,
the
and
Hilton doesn't have they've got that thing in the center, but it's a whole lot different. Well, that's very,
I
very cool.
actually am going to have a substitute drummer that night because my drummer Matt has a scheduling conflict, but the substitute is a fellow by the name of Chad Wackerman. So if any,
I think you'll be fine.
I think we'll be okay. Yeah, I just told him today. I said I hope your sub meets your approval.
So
But Matt's
Nathan,
been with me a long time. He's been over 20 years. It's kind of
yeah,
crazy, like 22 years since we started. And the bassist is named Nathan Peck.
yeah. Well, Matt, I love Matt's playing. I love the way he plays with you. Is Nathan been with you that long? Is he the same
Nathan's
guy?
been with me almost as long. We did have a different bassist on the first album,
Right.
and he actually got away from. Oh,
Yeah,
hang on one second.
you're dark
Yeah, I
again.
know. Yeah,
Um,
so the first original bass player, John Davis, got away from um, playing upright jazz bass for a while,
I was
and
blown away that you showed up with an upright I was that was amazing. I love upright. I love both, but
yeah, me too.
uh,
Nowadays, the current tour he's been doing, Nathan's been doing more electric,
well,
but
he's fantastic on it though. I
he
mean,
is,
and he's
and
playing the Sadowski. He's got a, he sounds great.
yeah, we have a we're both big Sadowski fans. But on the earlier recordings, we did mostly upright, and even on the tours too, because I
Yeah,
really wanted to capture the upright acoustic dynamic. But I feel like with the Sadowski basses, he's able to capture the same dynamic, even though it's on electric.
I enjoyed his playing.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
I really enjoyed his playing. I thought, and the thing that I'm so glad you guys are very prolific and on YouTube, because I tell people all the time, look, if you want to get my attention for whatever that's worth, don't send me your studio recordings.
Mhm.
I don't care. Send me
Right.
what you do live with people, or even live in the studio, or send me, because I want to see the conversation happen. I want to see how much you
Right.
can, I want to see, I want to feel how you feel about the music.
Yeah, it's
And,
about the interaction and the
and,
group dynamic. And
and a good friend of mine, Scott Henderson, who I
oh, I
love.
know Scott. Yeah,
Yeah, I
flutter
love Scott.
player.
You
Wow.
remind me of Scott in
Oh,
some
thank you.
ways,
He's a huge inspiration.
Oh well, I love Scott. I
Yeah.
mean, he's and but his records. We talked about this one day. He says, "Bob, I'm not doing theater. I'm making movies." So
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with when people are making movies the way that Scott goes about it. When his albums are his last one was so unbelievably creative and beautifully put together and all that.
Hmm.
It is like a movie. But if someone's gonna play, you know, whatever, Autumn Leaves,
Hmm.
and fix the solo, or do 39 takes on it, you know what I'm saying, to get
Oh
buck.
God.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want
Yeah.
I don't want that. And you'd be surprised. So
Oh,
I
I know. I know. I know. I
yeah,
know musicians that have
I want
approached
to
it that way, and I
yeah,
just don't get it.
I want to see what you do live. So so watching you guys play live, it's so obvious that you're all glued together. There's
Hmm.
just there's a great chemistry with the three of you, and I particularly like Matt. Matt's the drummer, right? Because
Yep.
yeah, I mean I like them both, but I'm drawn to drummers. I don't
Uh
know
huh.
what
Uh
it
huh.
is. I was probably a chick when I was in another life or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always wanted to be a drummer when
Uh
I
huh.
was a kid, um, and and because I want to. I took drum lessons. I was a guitar major in college and all that,
Uh
I
huh.
took all that stuff. And but I get into combo, and I go, what the hell is the drummer? What is he thinking about? I have no idea what he's thinking about. I know he's playing, but I don't know what he's thinking about.
Right.
So
Right.
I took like a dozen drum lessons, and now I'm no drummer. I can't. I'm like the world's
Sure.
worst. But I have an appreciation for what's going on, and now I can kind of follow what's happening. So
Hmm.
I really pay attention to what the drummers are doing, and as well, because bass I understand. I used to play bass, so I understand
Hmm.
that. But watching you three guys play together live on a stage it's pretty special. I mean, it's obvious that
Thank
you've been
you.
there for a long time together, and that you're all committed to each other's playing and music and supporting each other and all that. It's a good show to go to, man. I mean,
Thanks so much.
it's a good show to
Welcome.
go to. Go check it out, and
Thank you.
and get the record. The record is
Yeah.
very cool. There's a lot of textures, a lot of layers in there. Get the record.
Yeah, the record is a document. That's kind of how I
Yeah,
look at it. And it's
yeah.
nice people can listen to it, but every time you hear the record, you it is going to be exactly like when you heard the record the last time.
And
And that
you can do a really good listen to that record. I mean,
yeah.
it's not you can put it on and let it go and go about your day, or you can sit down and dig into it. And
Yeah, and
that's
I
kind
think
of
with a good record, you discover new things each
right
time.
all the time.
I think and hope that's the case with this record. But when you see us live, it is going to be
I
different
I
every
think
single time.
I think you achieved that. I
Uh huh.
do.
Thank you.
I think you achieved that. So we only got another minute or two here.
Okay.
I want you to what have we missed? What haven't we talked about that you want to make sure we get out there?
Let's see. So we talked about the guys. We talked about the music.
Talked about your mom and dad.
Yeah, talked about mom and dad. I guess the balance. Well, I'll just add that when I started playing with these guys,
Right,
and also playing around with different players that maybe I didn't have long term projects with,
right,
doing more jazz guitar stuff. It was a very different time, and I was sort of finding myself. I'd been in the band Testament for 5 records. I was
right.
very young when I joined the band. I was 16 years old
Yeah,
and left in my early 20s. The 90s was a very strange time for music. Like suddenly guitar solos were thrown out. Long hair was considered bad. In rock music, things got very weird. It all kind of pushed me towards approaching jazz guitar more seriously. And
right,
anyway, in the time since I started playing with Matt and Nate and doing the trio, I found my way back to the band. And I'm balancing it out. Testament also has a new record out, and they're radically different albums. They're radically different styles, but it feels totally comfortable for me to go from one to the other. Of course, mostly people often ask me what I practice more.
yeah,
I
right.
almost exclusively practice jazz. I'm always transcribing,
Which is
learning new
interesting
parts.
because
Yeah.
I heard you quote a Horace Silver lick
Uh,
and reference it, and I thought that's
that
what.
sounds like me. Yeah.
Yeah, no, what you did, you just said, no, this is a thing from Horace Silver, and I'm going, I mean,
Hmm.
I was like impressed that you're the audience that you were approaching, you were exposing them to Horace Silver, which if you don't know who he is, check him out. If you do know who he is, then check him out some more because
Well, that's why I realize I have a special platform because I
yeah,
can reach people that don't know about guys like Horace Silver or Grant Green or
oh yeah,
some so many other heroes, and I just decided to embrace that. And I said that's fun instead of the people that are so well versed in that and they have their favorite players already. I'm not
oh
going to
yeah.
knock on their door. Hey, listen to me. I've got this audience, and some of those people come along and they say, "Wow, I couldn't have believed that somebody from with your background,
Right.
doing that's toured with bands like Slayer and Megadeth could actually do this and do this convincingly." But it took a long, long time, as I mentioned,
The
to get to that point. But now both bands are doing great, and I've also got other
other things.
instrumental people I
Yeah,
play with, virtuosos like Stuart Ham. I'm going to be playing with him next month.
that's right.
I got called for a gig with Ralph No Gary Novak,
Oh wow.
Tim Lefebvre,
Yeah.
and Brian Charette. So that's really exciting, and the fact that like players like that will sometimes reach out is that's like okay, that's better than a Grammy.
That's kind of like that's a you have arrived kind of statement.
Yeah,
That's for sure. Nirvana happened in '87, and that's what happened to
yeah.
all that all that music.
And
Yeah.
I like some of that music too, but
Oh
it
yeah, of
was
course. But I'm just saying that whole guitar god solo hair band, all that stuff kind of went.
the move. Some of the
Yeah.
movements are. I realize I don't really relate to movements either.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I like a certain type of music. I don't care if there's a trend surrounding it. I don't care if there's about its popularity. I either like it or I don't. But
Yeah, I think you've done a really. I mean, interrupt you, but I think you did a really good
uh
job of displaying that sonically in your record.
thank you so much.
I think you
I
did it.
think another thing that comes through, if I
Yeah,
may, not to
please.
tout my own record or anything,
Why
but
not?
I feel like there's joy that comes out. There's joy of music, like all the inspiration that has gone into it from great artists that I listen to and to describe. It's a way of sharing that, and I think it comes through.
I, you know, not to make it about me, but I always
Yeah.
seem to do that. But I've been doing this
Nothing wrong with it.
since I was about 12, 13 years
Uh,
old. I'm 75 years old. I've been doing.
oh, I would never guess.
I still play the guitar every
Cool.
day and have for
Awesome.
years. This happens to be a Strat,
Yeah, it's a
but
nice one.
but there's a bunch of guitars around here. But I mean, I'm just like into it, and so I recognize these influences. Is what I'm trying to tell you. I
Awesome.
recognize stuff that
Yeah.
you're doing. I'm going, oh man, there's some of that going on. There's some of that going on, and I think that's a cool thing you're doing. It really is, and I like it, and I like it. I like the music. The fact that you play at the level that you play. I mean, you're not just a concept guy without the chops to go along with it.
Yeah.
Because you can you have with your talent and your dexterity and all your facility, let's call it that.
Hmm.
You have a harder time what not to play than what to play.
Right. That's
You know,
exactly right.
you've
That's
got
a
to
big.
truncate. You've got to, you got to, even if you got a racehorse, you kind of got to, hey, look, you can't be doing that here. Let's,
Yeah, you got to be selective
you got,
about the fun.
and but and it's really obvious to me that you're doing that, and because you're, like I said, that canvas thing,
Hmm.
and then,
Hmm.
oh, we're going to put a river right there, and there,
Yes.
so.
Exactly right. Well, having it appreciated by somebody, with your experience and ears and recognition, it means a lot. I'd rather have
Well,
that than,
well, you're
yeah,
obviously you're very welcome, and this has been fun.
yeah,
So we're gonna wrap it up. So
awesome.
we've been talking with Alex Skolnick about his new
Skolnick.
record, and pardon me.
Yep. Prove you're not a robot is the new record.
Prove You're Not a Robot is the new record, which I absolutely love. It's like a captcha thing,
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly right. But it also, there's a lot of metaphors too,
not
which I
wasn't
think you get. Yeah, it applies to me.
wasn't lost on me, and I wanted the other people. It's probably available everywhere that music is available. Listen to
Yep.
it. Go to YouTube. Go to the shows. Go to the concerts. Support artists that are truly artists and truly creating. And I'm delighted that we got a chance to meet each other and talk today. And you got
Same
anything
here.
else? Last thing? Anything?
That's it.
One
Support jazz guitar today.
jazz guitar today. All right, man. Thanks, Alex. I appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Bob.
All
Great
right.
to meet. Hope
Bye
to
bye.
meet in person. All right.
That'd be good.